is SABC News specialist correspondent Sophie Mukwena, who's still with me here at Nasrec. Sophie, you were listening into the conversation with the good doctor there about the state of the economy in Africa and what needs to do to make things better. As someone who's tracked these conversations for decades, is the sense that you are getting right now that finally the momentum is upward moving and that things will change?
In fact, I'm looking ahead. When the president spoke about that borrowing conference, we are already talking about where to from here. And this is in line with the Trevor Manuel's report on Africa. You also have another important report, Professor Stiglitz, on inequality. Now, I'm looking at that report. The prof says, a Nobel laureate, Stiglitz, says that report is a gift to the world because, as the economist pointed out there, the report can be adopted by the United Nations. It is addressing the global challenges, not the challenges as it relates to the G20 member states or Africa or South Africa, but to the world. And that speaks to perhaps if the UN adopts this report, the inequality report, that will be President Ramaphosa's legacy, as we know that he is not going to seek a third term. He will be leaving office after the second term. And therefore, this is his legacy. And I think he is going to ensure that he does lobby his counterparts who are members of the United Nations, that this report is tabled before the UN General Assembly at some point in time so that it can be adopted and be used as a blueprint to address some of the challenges. It doesn't mean that's the only solution, but this report being part of the blueprint that can be used to address the challenges, while the Africa report by Trevor Manuel can be a blueprint by Africa to continue to do the good work as it relates to NEPAD, and now NEPAD being combined with other agencies. And therefore, you have a continuity. What is important is continuity. Continuity, you focus on the good, you ignore the bad, and you'll be able to make headway. China was able to address the issue of poverty. Why can't other countries do the same?
Is Africa united enough for its part to be able to guarantee that very continuity that you talk about?
The Africans themselves, the citizens of this continent, they are united. They want better life. They want a developed continent. What is often failing us is leadership. And therefore, leaders must do the right thing. As the UN chief has indicated that you need a political will to address these challenges. So for me, ordinary Africans, they know what are the problems, they have solutions, they want these problems to be addressed, but at times the leaders do fail to address these issues, including the issue of social unrest. You have these leaders who are not putting people first. It's about them, their families, their friends, and then the ordinary citizens are suffering. And that is why you see what we are seeing in the Sahel region. Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, those generals took advantage when ordinary citizens in the Sahel regions were saying enough is enough.
And how, on that point, let's speak about instability and the lack of proper governance, because it comes up in the Stiglitz report, in fact, as part of one of the things that are holding back the ambition to build a world that is prospering, where there are guarantees that everyone will get adequate access to healthcare, housing, economic opportunity.
The institutions are important. When South Africa had these challenges in recent time, if the democracy, as it relates to institutions, were not sound and strong, some of them critical ones, we would have been in a worse situation. And therefore, the democratic institutions are very, very important. And that is why the ordinary citizens of respective countries on the continent, all the time you must be vigilant to ensure that the democratic institutions are independent, impartial, and they do what they are supposed to do. As it relates to the financial sector in South Africa, the systems there also are tight. And that's what many countries must do in terms of strong financial institutions that can weather the storm.
And it's good news, right, that we were ultimately in the last few weeks also taking off the Financial Intelligence Centre's grey list, which is a boost, a vote of confidence in our banking system as well. That report, in terms of the lifting of grey listing, not only that, the recent rating agencies upgrading South Africa, we're still in the danger zone, but it looks like we are moving in the right direction. And sometimes we think it's the wisdom of leaders. It's because South Africans are vigilant and they speak and they push. And therefore the leaders then will wake up and say, hey, we must do something to avoid the restlessness that can lead to civil unrest. And therefore, it is important for the citizens to always be engaged.